Hey everybody, welcome to Reese Hollow Bushcraft. I'm Dustin. On today's episode, we're going to be covering snares and entry-level traps. These are going to be 3 simple traps that anyone can do, even if you're just getting into bushcraft. I got a little bit of snow coming down. It's kind of covering last night's tracks for the rabbits. But I feel that if we get out and get into the thicket, we'll find some good trails and some good trap locations to set up some snares. And hopefully the weather cooperates. So without further ado, sit back and enjoy this episode of Reese Hollow Bushcraft.
Beneath the moonlit sky, as shadows dance, a solemn pact made a risky chance. He bargained his soul for his family's shield. In darkness grasp his fate was sealed. Oh Lord, hear my plea. Keep my loved ones safe, set them free. Take my soul, spare their pain. In your light, let them remain.
Okay, to make a snare, it's really not that difficult. I like to grab about 3 foot of wire. I'll make my head loop this way. When I wrap, I like to leave gaps like this in there, right? I like to run it all the way up, hollow like that. After I get 4 or 5 good loops on it, then what I do, I like to return it. I call it the dead man's return. Okay, so it doesn't unwind. I take this wire, I stick it back through those holes, like that. Now, that snare is not coming out of there, okay? It's not gonna back off on you, and it still slides really nice. Then on the other side, you just attach it to whatever stick, branch, or twig that you find. So the snare is relatively easy to set up, right? So what we would do is we'll just take an area. Say we're gonna have it right here. Put it about this high right here, tie it off. The animal will be directed right to it. We got food. So let's go see if we can set up some snares off in the thicket somewhere and see what we come up with. Now, what I like to do is I like to carry my snares on the outside of my bag, so that way I don't have to dig through it to get to it. I found a place where I'm going to set up my snare. I found the trail. Now all I got to do is just unclip this and I'm ready to go. Now, before I put my snare in, what I'll do is I'll carve a little groove right here. So that way when your line's locked on here and you have an animal thrashing around on it, it's not going to slide off, right? That's important, is to have this secure, okay? This is the lethal end, but you can't get this lethal if you're not attached. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my stick, find a location right here. Okay. Snare. Okay. Okay, now he has to go through here, okay? So He's not going to come around this way. He's not going to come around that way. To get into his residence, he's going to have to go down this trail. So, let's come back tomorrow and see if we got some food on the table. When you're out doing bushcraft and you're making traps, right? You're doing a couple of days in the woods. You want to make more than one trap. You're going to want to take 15, 20 snares with you. Memorize your snare route too. Go around, set as many as you can. The more traps you set, the more chances you have. It just makes that much sense. So, tip of the week, carry as many snares as you can. If you're going to build deadfalls, build 15 or 20 of them, because 1 or 2 isn't going to cut it. The more you know, the more you know. Alright, this trap right here, we're going to learn just a 50-50 cut deadfall. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of this wood right here. This is a simple little trick, okay? Simple little trap. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take one piece of wood, roughly this length. You can shorten it as you need it. What we're going to do is we're going to cut down through here, halfway through this branch, right here. Let me come up here and show you what I mean. Cut it down roughly 50%. Just like that. Okay, I'll flip it over like this. You're going to put another 50-50 cut right off the edge of it. Just like so. Okay, now if you break it, it should break just like this. Okay, this is the first part of this trap, is getting this broke with your 50-50. Now, you can take your knife, okay, clean it out a little bit, make sure everything's good on that, okay. Now, in order to get this right, okay, you have to measure it out with your deadfall. I do not have a rock today because of how cold it is and frozen. But, let me get this out of the way. I do got a log. Okay. Okay. Now once we have our 50-50 cut right here, I'm going to take a small branch, just like this. Cut a length of it here. Right there. Okay. Depending on how long you want your trap to be. That's a little thick. Let's try this one. This will be perfect. Okay. Got my trigger trap right here. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to mark this out. Okay? Just like this. I'm going to mark right here, mark right there. Do the same to the top. Okay? Just like so. Now I have this ready to carve out. Okay, now that you got that carved out right there, we'll do the other side. got that carved out like that. Now, we just take our ends and we whittle them down. All right. Now, we got them both rounded off good. We got this lined up good right here, so it fits together. Now, if this is going to be the top, right, we're going to take a little bit out of this back right here. I'm going to shave a little more off of right here, off of this one, okay? See where the T is right here? We're going to come off of that. Just a millimeter or two, just enough so it don't get hung up, okay? Try a little more here. All right. Try a little more. See how the back end has some missing off of it right here? That'll give this nothing to fall off of here, okay? Take your trigger stick that we have, place it right in our grooves, okay? Like so. I'm gonna put her in to the middle. Okay. Pinch your sides, okay? Keep your sides pinched. Okay, bait stick right here, or trigger is right there. You can either put bait on it or put it across where an animal cuts through. All you gotta do is just move this a little bit. This will fall on your animal, pinning it down. Very, very simple trap. Okay, now this is going to be a little easier of a trap to make, okay? This is a little less to do. It's going to be the same 50-50 cut. You're going to take a branch like this with another branch off of it, right? It's going to be the same kind of 50-50 cut. So from right here, I'm going to cut halfway down through on the top, okay? About 50% down through. I'm going to do the same thing to the back, directly behind it. Okay, now this should break where I want it to again, just like that. Okay. Now once we have this, you are already pretty much done with this trap. What you need to do is just off the back side, off this one, just like on the previous one, we're going to take just a little tiny bit off of it. Doesn't matter how much, just the slightest little bit. Okay. Let me should have brought my little saw. Just a hair. This kind of keeps it from, you know, binding up. Okay. Now it's not going to bind up. Now it's going to quick release. Okay. Set up. Again, one is not enough. You're going to need multiple. Okay. Come along right here. Done. 2 cuts is all you need for this trap.